Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to sunny Sugarman Sports Complex as we're getting ready for a rivalry showdown between Cliffside Park and Fort Lee in this girls' soccer contest. And we are honored to be joined by Coach Pagano here prior to opening kickoff. And, Coach, looking at how your team's season has progressed, this is a chance for you guys to get back to 500 on the year, to sweep the season series against the arch rivals from the Red Raiders of Cliffside Park. What have you been stressing to your team heading into today, knowing that you had your way the first time around, but it's not given that it's going to repeat here this time around?
Right. So we've practiced a lot, and we know their game plan. And I've just told them that it's not going to be an easy game. The first game we pretty much dominated, but they're coming out strong. It looks like they're warming up really well. So it's going to be a pretty good match. I have faith in my girls. I think they'll be all right.
What type of adjustments have you had to make throughout the course of the season? Obviously, you've had some issues in terms of giving up goals, but you've also been able to really put a ton in the back of the net. How has this team evolved over the course of this season?
We're going through it with the goalie. Sometimes Abby steps to the plate and plays goal for me. But when she's not here, we have Masaki, who's my backup. I kind of changed around my defense, my back four, which has really helped us out. So, I'm more defensive minded, but we have a really good striker that really puts everything on her shoulders and scores a lot of goals. So I'm pretty confident in her for today.
And finally, as the leader of this program, how do you get your girls to get focused and get at hand for this one and also just the home stretch? I know it was just narrowly missing out on the postseason. How do you have them finish strong, and that could help you build for years to come?
Well, I'm having them focus on this game as our playoff game. I'm not sure if we're going to be the 16th seed or not yet, because I don't know if the final standings have come out yet. But if we don't make the playoffs, we have this game, and then we have another game our senior night against North Bergen, which I'm having them play like as an actual playoff game. I have a lot of young athletes coming up, staying with me for next year. So hopefully the program will build.
Well, best of luck here today against Cliffside Park, and here's to a great finish to your season as you're building something pretty special here at the Fort.
Thank you very much.
So again, that was Coach Pagano leading up to opening kickoff here. Stick around as we'll be back for the beginning of this afternoon's contest. Fort Lee and Cliffside Park coming up next on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to the Sugarman Sports Complex in beautiful Fort Lee, New Jersey. The setting for today's Big North American Division showdown between the Cliffside Park Red Raiders, 8-7-1 on the season, taking on the Fort Lee Bridgemen, 5-6 overall on the season, and 4-3 in divisional play. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by my producer, Dimitri Nanis, and our camera operator, Renee Matisich. We're so glad that you could join us for another edition of Bridgeman Girls Soccer Action. Arch rivalry renewed, second meeting of the season. First meeting came back earlier this year on September 26, and Fort Lee was victorious 6-1 on the road against Cliffside Park. They're going to be trying to sweep away their arch rivals this season, and with a win would move Fort Lee back to 500 on the season. Some tough luck for the Bridgemen coming into play today. They had to get a couple of results to go their way over the weekend. They did not, so it looks like they will be missing out on the postseason in the state sectional playoffs by only 3 power points. They finished as the 17th spot, with the top 16 teams allowed in to the postseason field. So despite all that, Fort Lee has a chance to tie their win total from a season ago and also try to finish up strong, as they'll also have their senior night coming up against North Bergen in a couple of days' time. Cliffside Park, 8-7-1 on the season. They're going to be trying to get that split against Fort Lee. They have qualified for the state playoffs in North 2 Group 3, as they will be the number 13 seed heading into postseason play, as it looks like they will be matching up in a first-round game at Millburn. Head coaches for their respective sides, Danielle Sabelli is the head coach at Cliffside Park. Cal Pagano is the head coach, and we thank him for joining us prior to the game to talk about his Fort Lee soccer program and how he's going to be hoping for his team to continue to take those next steps in this program's evolution as a perennial power. Last season, Fort Lee lost 3-2 here at home against Cliffside Park, so they're going to be trying to change that narrative. Like I said, go for the season sweep. Fort Lee's last contest was a 6-0 defeat on the road at Riverdale on October 17th. While Cliffside Park, they knocked off the team that's most likely going to be taking home another divisional championship this year in Dwight Morrow. They defeated the Maroon Raiders 1-0 back on October 19th. Cliffside Park will be in their road white uniforms with the red numerals on the back, outlined in black. While Fort Lee is going to be in their home black uniforms with an orange trim. And we are about to get underway, and dare I say, a picture-perfect afternoon. That is not something that we have been able to consistently say this fall. It has been atrocious when it's come to the weather. But no threat of rain in the forecast today. 61 degrees at opening kickoff, sunny skies here in Bergen County. Fort Lee 2-3 so far this season at home. 3-3 away from home and 4-3 in league play. And just waiting for both teams to check out onto the field so we could get going here with the first 40 minutes of action here in the first half. Abby Farron is the senior in goal today for Fort Lee. 22 saves on the season, had 5 saves in the first meeting against Cliffside Park. Did not begin the season as the goaltender for Fort Lee, but she has filled in nicely here. Had a season-high 8 saves in a contest against Tenafly earlier this season. Fort Lee will begin with possession to get us underway here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Thanks for joining us on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Fort Lee scoring 46 goals on the season. They are an explosive side. 46 goals, accounting for 4.2 goals per game. And Alexa Castro is in the midst of all of it. 32 goals on the season, one of the most lethal goal scorers in all of New Jersey high school soccer. In that first matchup, Castro struck for 5 goals against Cliffside Park. Just insane numbers this year for the junior. That gets ricocheted in the middle of the field and deflected. As Fort Lee's trying to get to it, it's going to be a handball whistled against Cliffside Park. Possession will go back over to Fort Lee. As that's sent down the other way, Carlos Satuj is going to be the goalie for Cliffside Park. 72 saves on the season. Again, Cliffside is coming off a shutout victory against Dwight Morrow on October 19th. Trying to make it 2 straight wins here against Fort Lee on the road at Fort Lee after winning 3-2 last season. Cleared forward. Fort Lee will track it down defensively. Dangerous pass nearly was intercepted in the middle of the field. Trying to get a flick of it that time was Sarah Zachary Canfrey. Canfrey now with it. She leads the team with 11 goals on the season. Good placement on the roller to the far side to Shelley. Shelley with a centering ball. Deflected and into the net for a goal. And Cliffside Park with a build-up have matched their goal total from the previous meeting this season against Fort Lee. And quickly off and running come the Red Raiders. 1-0 start. Well, it didn't have the velocity on it, but it still had the accuracy to find its way into the back of the net. And Cliffside Park out in front, 1-0. As Castro trying to take it for a run down the near side, couldn't get to it in time before it goes out of bounds for a goal kick. So Confrey was the one who had set up that advance, slowly rolled it to the far side to Caitlin Shelley. And then eventually it was tapped in, and Cliffside Park out in front again, 1-0. So Fort Lee's going to be trying to return favor, but De Silva had that one get away from her. Played over to the far side to Shelley. Gets that ball taken away. Stolen back defensively by Fort Lee as they look to bring it up the field. Haven't got a real shot opportunity just yet. Miss hit as it caroms out of bounds to the far side. As Gabriela Alvarado was trying to get to that. Now, while Fort Lee has scored 46 times this season, they've also now allowed 43 goals to opponents. So something that Coach Pagano was hinting at and wants to try to clean up going forward in a couple of next seasons. That was something that was also an Achilles heel for the team a season ago, was defensively they could score a lot of goals, but they also gave up way too much. Now to the midfield. Koretsky getting that one, playing it wide to the far side. As that's sent out of play wide of the mark. So less than 5 minutes into the action and already a 1-0 lead for the visitors. Cliffside Park trying to get to their 9th win of the season. Again, they have assured themselves of a sectional state playoff game. They will be playing against Milburn on the road as the number 13 seed in North 2 Group 3. Trying to stay onside that time was Castro. Couldn't time her run, as that will be offside the call, with the official having his arm up on the far side of the field. Cliffside Park had a very slow start to their season. In their first 6 games, fans, they went 1-4-1. But since that opening part of their season, they've gone 6-3 in their last 9 games of the season, playing their best soccer of the year. Chip attempts, getting behind the back of the defense, but not close enough to allow Castro to strike. Played away. Now propelled forward by Cliffside Park. It kind of ricochets a little bit again, and here comes Cliffside Park. If they didn't commit the foul, they were going to have a potential 2-on-none. But they knocked down that last line of defense for Fort Lee. That'll lead to the free kick for the Bridgemen. Bridgemen returning home for the first time since October 2nd. After playing on the road for their last 3 consecutive matches. Here's a shot, that time on the run, just sails a little too high and wide, as that'll go out for a goal kick. Last time that Fort Lee played here, they put up 13 goals against Dumont in a 13-4 win against the Huskies. Then they traveled to Dwight Morrow, lost a 4-3 decision, defeated Ridgefield Park 2-1, but then got blanked in Oradell, losing 6-0 against Riverdale. Pass to the feet of Castro. Tries to turn on her defender. She does so, dribbling through, takes the shot and scores! And there's her equalizing goal for Fort Lee, coming courtesy of the sensational junior, Alexa Castro. Castro scoring her 33rd goal of the season to deadlock this game now at 1-1. Castro absolutely bedeviled Cliffside Park in the first meeting, 5 goals on the season. And to think that's not even her best game of the year. She scored 9 goals last time she played here at home against Dumont. That is just video game-like numbers. Centering ball, misplayed right in front. Ball is still loose, and Fearon will finally dive on top of it. It's tough right now, to be honest, with the sunlight glaring into the eyes of Fearon and some of those players looking for it. So she went up to try to hit it with her hands, but it went through here. She had to pounce on it. Fort Lee playing it off to the far side. So it's a 1-1 game. Less than 10 minutes into the start of the first half. A lot of goal scoring already. Taken into the midfield. Possession now for Fort Lee. Lucia Koretsky. 3 goals, 2 assists on the season, number 24 in black and orange. Service playing up top. Here's Castro. Being marked on the far side. There's a shot, a hard shot at that. Good save and popping it to themselves. Satoujian makes the save. Now she tries to drop kick this out of harm's way. Taking it back. Maria Clavio. Clavio had the tap-in goal, number 9, for Cliffside Park to start off this game and give Cliffside Park at that point a 1-0 advantage. Here's Castro. Castro takes it to the near side. Now still playing it to the far side of the 30. Long ball trying to find a home down the near side. That'll be out of play. Fort Lee not able to come underneath that one. Since their last match on September 26th, Fort Lee has been able to alternate wins and losses on the season. So if that follows the trend, then you'd have to think that they're going to bounce back here today. So they're 4-3 in their last 7 games. A throw in on the near sideline. And it looks like a violation against against Fort Lee for stepping over the out of bounds line as they were trying to attempt their throw in. Kind of see the amount of players shielding their eyes, looking right into the sun. This was usually happening at this juncture in late October. A 4:15 start time here. Taken away is Haley So. So second on the team in points so far this season with 25. Shelley takes it for a run down the far side, tries the centering, and that one is kicked away. So Fearon deciding not to maybe make that catch and hold on to the possession, and leads to a corner kick on the far side here for Cliffside Park. As Confrey will handle this service on the far side. 9 assists on the year for number 10. Good ball in the box. That was open in front, and a header attempt goes wide, and looks like it was going to be no goal anyway, even if they had gotten that connection, as the whistle had sounded against Cliffside Park. Castro again to herself. It's a 1-on-4, and that's the advantage for her. And taking the possession over to the near side, but then was blockered away. Quickly, they get it to Castro again, try to head it to herself. As you can see, she has to go through almost the entire town of Cliffside Park. She's going to be trying to get to the net again. Fort Lee's teammates, they have to do a little better spacing to get those opportunities, because if you have 4 different defenders paying attention where Castro is at all times, that's going to lead to shooting opportunities for the Bridgemen here today. So has that one bounce off the back of one of the defenders, as that will defend now into the corner area, as it deflected off of a defensive player last for Cliffside Park. So a corner taken on the near side here for Fort Lee, with a chance for the Bridgemen possibly stake themselves to their first lead of the afternoon. Service inside the box is headed forward. Godfrey trying to break out of her own. Fort Lee was trying to get to it, but they couldn't keep it cleanly in play. That goes out of bounds. Will be a throw-in now for Cliffside Park. Confrey's outlet pass was intercepted initially by Angelina Velate, and now it's going to be played outside to Lacey Bark. Bark had a goal and assist against Cliffside Park back on September 26th in that last meeting. Cliffside Park, since losing to Fort Lee, have really just turned their season around dramatically. 7-2 in their last 9 games. Trying to chase that down to the near side was Desiree Nieves, number 1, the senior for Cliffside Park. As Coach Sabelli is going to make a substitution. Just under 27 minutes left to go here in the first half. 1-1 your score. Cliffside Park struck for the opening goal of the game less than 5 minutes into play. Alexa Castro with the equalizer to knot up the score for Fort Lee. So his outlet pass off the mark as she was trying to get it up top to her fantastic forward in Castro. 67 goals, 12 assists for 146 points in her career. Last season, Castro as a sophomore struck for 28 goals in her campaign. This year already up to 33 goals. Free kick now upcoming for Cliffside Park. Confrey will send that one long. Could be danger, and that time coming out to make that stop and collect it with her hands is Fearon. Play it over to the near side. Allison Catalan. Just trying to get to that one. Here's Castro. Rodriguez trying to play it forward. Knocked down. Clavio playing it wide. Shelley trying to get it back to a centering ball. This could be trouble for Fort Lee. It's precariously out in front. Fearon finally diving on top of it to short-circuit that offensive opportunity. But Confrey was lurking inside the middle of the box. Again, Fearon, not the natural goalie for Fort Lee, and you can kind of see that in some of her hesitancy and the instincts when or when not to come out. So Fort Lee has to be aware of that, and they have to put the pressure on the other side. That's your best defense. Staying onside? No, it's going to be Castro. Did not time it correctly as she was really trying to hold the line there. That was a late whistle, too, as it looked like maybe it would have been enough of a time to stay onside and have an opportunity one-on-one with the keeper. Leads to the free kick upcoming here for Cliffside Park. Had their recent 3-game win streak snapped in a 6-0 defeat against Holy Angels on October 17th. Started that new win streak with their last time out, the 1-0 victory against Dwight Morrow. Fort Lee missed on that initial volley attempt midair. Catalan was trying to take it over to the near side. Pop forward by Koretsky down the near side wing. Here's Castro with it, with the possession. Gets by the first defender, gets by the second defender. Takes the shot to the near side. Was not going to be inside the goal if it continued to roll. And it was snatched down by the keeper to the near side. You could see the dynamic dribbling on display by Castro got through her first 2 defenders that had flanked over to cover her. Cliffside Park doing a good job of knocking it down, and Fort Lee not taking any chances. We'll just clear it away to the far side. Right in front of the Fort Lee far sideline. It's going to be a throw-in upcoming here after the subs have been made by Cliffside Park. Quickly approaching the midway points of this first half. 1-1 your score. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, and Renee Matisic, part of our broadcast crew here today. We thank you for your constant support of student athletes and all the different Fort Lee fall seasons that we've been covering. Time and in between, and Fort Lee again. Fearon, a couple times here. Fearon's been going at it and being hesitant. She is allowed, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but she is allowed to use her hands as the goalie. But she's been operating more like a field player where she's trying to handle everything just at her feet. And it's making life a little more risky and dangerous for her and her team. Trying to slither that one past the last line of defense, but Fort Lee's pass got knocked down. On a whistle, and that's going to be a violation against Cliffside Park, so possession upcoming for Fort Lee. Free kick upcoming with the ball being placed to the 35-yard line for the Bridgemen. Fort Lee in pursuit of what would be their first lead of this first half. The free kick, low liner. Oh, that was not missing by much. That started as a low lining delivery and then continued to elevate a bit. It was making its way to that right corner. Just missed wide, but a great offering there by Fort Lee. That was Haley So, who was trying to go for goal. Said it goes out for a free kick. Gretzky trying to get a piece of it. Nice move there by Cliffside Park. They've got a runner down the far side. Here's an opportunity. Coming well off the line, but unable to procure it initially. It leads to the tap-in finish in front. And Cliffside Park strikes for their second goal of the half. That time is Clavijo feeding Confrey. And Sarah Zachary Confrey with her team-leading 12th goal this season. And just at the midway point of the first half, Cliffside Park is taking back the lead again, this time at 2-1. Fort Lee had been tempting the fates a little bit before with their defensive style and also with the gambles that have been made in goal. And that leads to a tap-in finish on the second goal of the half and of the game here for Cliffside Park, who've taken a 2-1 lead. Fort Lee has the firepower on this side to get right back in the thick of things, and Castro, with the goalie breathing down her neck, was able to just kick that one, trying to do first hit that she can cleanly get to, but popped it wide of the mark. So Cliffside Park has already scored more against Fort Lee than they did earlier this season, when they were held to only one goal in that 6-1 defeat at home at Cliffside Park. Confrey was trying to go diagonally with that pass, was knocked down by the Fort Lee back line. Bridgman have to go back to track it down. And they'll play it out of bounds to the near side. A throw in. Nieves was trying to get that one up. Goretzky's pass, intended on the far side, was anticipated that time by Shelley. Fort Lee right behind Cliffside Park in the divisional standings, 4-3 in third place. Cliffside Park above them, 4-2-1. That tie came against Ridgefield Park in their second game of the season for Cliffside. Shifted down that time by Elda Shuki, number 5, the junior for Fort Lee. Goes out of bounds. Barak will throw it back in. Try to get it to Castro, but it's going to be a handball whistled against the Bridgeman. Samantha Ocampo will handle this free service and the free kick, number 7. Basket up top. Confrey. The defender falling. She's still dribbling up a storm. She takes the chip shot and just lofted that one wide to the far side. One of the defenders will handle the free kick here for Fort Lee. Castro in the midfield. zipping by some initial defenders, but was swept away there by Ocampo. Onfrey as her pocket pick dispossessed there in the midfield. Here comes Fort Lee with a build-up on the counter. Good ball down the near side. Fort Lee trying to track it down. They will before it can go out of bounds. Now Castro inside the box. Switches over to her left foot. Stumbles a bit. Lost the balance. Dispossessed. Good defensive work there by Cliffside Park. Here come the Red Raiders in the counterattack. Nieves had that one go high. A little slow to get back in the course of play as well. Ball loose out in front, chipped ahead forward. Fort Lee trying to play it right back into the midfield, but Nieves stepping up. Turnover force. Nieves trying to center the ball. Great anticipation here by Fort Lee. But no one on the other end. Again, it's so treacherous right now. Where Haley So and company, whenever they're going from left to right, they are staring right into the sun. It is blinding. Cliffside Park playing it to the far side. Again, Furon trying to kick it. I just don't understand. You have the gloves. Why she isn't just trying to simply catch it or take it off a bounce off the turf. Play to the near side. Catalan playing it over to the near side. Onfrey. Nieves left it behind. Ball loose out in front. And Fort Lee able to get to it. Castro has the burners on right now, trying to get back to the middle of the field and tipped away just at the last moment from behind defensively. Ball still left behind. Fort Lee trying to swarm on it. They look for the equalizing goal. Past the midway point of the first half. Ball came up that time, and it looks like it's going to be a handball whistled against Fort Lee. Free kick upcoming for Cliffside Park. Free kick just over midfield now for Cliffside Park. Campo sending that service to the top of the box. Wortley gets it out to the far side. Now the Bridgemen trying to build up a little bit of a counterattack. Ball goes wide to the far side wing. No cutters right now inside. There's a shot, and that's deflected and saved by Cliffside Park. Great shot on the far side. So the Bridgemen getting closer and closer to finding that equalizing finish. Off the corner. Castro trying to swoop in on a header attempt. That shot went wide on the follow-up side, and that'll go out for a goal kick. Just under 12 and a half minutes left to go in the first half of play on a beautiful sunny afternoon here at Fort Lee. Second meeting of the season. Fort Lee trying to sweep both games against Cliffside Park. They won 6-1 in the first meeting, but they're down here 2-1 late in the first half. Again, Fort Lee just missing out on playing as a participant in the 16-team field of the state sectional playoffs. The PowerPoint totals came out just over the weekend. They saw themselves 3 points behind Morris Hills for that final playoff spot. Played up top. As Shelley now trying to get to it in the far side, will earn a throw-in on the far side of the field for Cliffside Park. And again, Fort Lee just content with quickly just trying to clear it forward. The header attempts off the mark, and now again the hustle here for Cliffside Park. They've been winning these 50-50 possession opportunities, and that's been allowing them to then venture up the field a little bit more, put that pressure on the back line, and then put anything on goal right now. If you're Cliffside Park and you're seeing that Fort Lee has not been the most confident of sides when it's come to goaltending, I think any shot and every shot's going to be a great shot. Along the near side, Jenna Harb defending, doing the good work, number 5. The possession will go back over to Fort Lee. Castro is looking to potentially split the double team there. Again, Castro lurking every single time. The back line knows where number 10 is for Fort Lee. Played along the far side. Now chipping it forward. Now a whistle. Looks like it's going to be a handball against Fort Lee, so it's going to lead to a free kick opportunity here for Cliffside Park, trying to extend their 1-goal lead right now as we're drawing closer and closer to halftime. Free kick's going to be set up at around the 25-yard line. Confrey will handle the service. She has 1 goal in this game. Confrey lofting that one into the corner of the net for a goal. She scored 2 in a row here for Cliffside Park, who have now taken a 3-1 advantage. Might have been a little aided by the sun, but also picture perfect placement on that shot, just lofting it into the left corner. Cliffside Park now leads by 2, 3-1. 8:55 left to go here in the first half. So Sarah Zakri Confrey, the junior, with her 12th and 13th goals of the season so far here in the first half. And the visitors have scored 3 against Fort Lee after only being held to 1 goal in the first meeting. Fort Lee looking for an immediate response. Goretzky across the middle. A swing and a miss. If they cleanly executed there on the far side, that might have been a tap-in goal for Fort Lee. Instead, they missed it, and now that ball is jettisoned to the far side over the fence. Should be a throw-in now upcoming for Cliffside Park. Cliffside Park not content with just the first 3 goals that they've scored in this game. They're looking for more. No lead is safe the way that Fort Lee can score them in bunches, especially with Castro in charge. Blockered away, deflected out of bounds. Will be a throw-in now here for Fort Lee. 7.5 minutes left to go in the first half. So many different defenders watching when Castro has the ball. She tried to do a nice spin move right by the end line, but instead took herself and the possession out of bounds. Will be Cliffside Park upcoming with the goal kick. Foul against Cliffside Park. Fort Lee will have the free kick near midfield. As Cliffside will handle it again, they've been solid here defensively, limiting the possession opportunities for Fort Lee and keeping shots to the outside. Shelley playing it wide. Shelley's been using that speed to keep it in play. Centering ball across the heart of the goal mouth area. Now finally handled there with the hands of Fearon. Nieves trying to leave that pass behind to Catalan. Stolen away by Castro. But every time you see when Castro has the ball, you don't see another player in black on the screen. You just see all a field of white. Someone other than Alexa Castro has to start to administer a little more pressure up top for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen are going to be trying to claw their way back into the course of this divisional game with under 5 minutes left to go in the first half. Out of bounds to the far side will be a throw-in for the Red Raiders. Put up 3 goals last year here at home, the home of the Bridgemen, and 3 more already in this first half. Cliffside Park with their 3 goals today, 39 goals on the season. They're averaging just over 2 goals per game. There was another ball that had gotten onto the field in the course of play right where the play was happening. As one Fort Lee defender was trying to kick one of the errant balls out of play, and referee saw that and will officially give a throw-in, it looks like, to Fort Lee in their defensive zone. Nieves aired it out to the far side, but Shelley was not able to do that one touch to get the possession down at her boot. Coming up on 3.5 minutes left to go in the first half. Latte was trying to get to it. Played forward. Misplayed in the back line initially by Fort Lee. Good job of tracking it down, though. But again, Fort Lee unable to get to it before it slowly meandered its way out of bounds to the far sideline. Here's the delivery. Could be trouble, and there it goes again. Another shot from distance into the sun. A 4-1 lead for Cliffside Park, 3 unanswered. And it's just very smart on Cliffside Park's side. They know that they have the sun as kind of one of their quasi-teammates right now. It's blinding into the eyes of Abby Fearon, and when she's been venturing a little too far out, those lofted plays, those lofted shots up and over her head, she can't backtrack and see where she is. And Cliffside Park taking full advantage. And the unlucky thing for Fort Lee is that they're not going to even have that advantage themselves in the second half when they flip the sides of the field, because the sun is starting to set here and you're seeing more shadows come over the field. I don't think it's going to be an advantage for Castro and company when they start to go in that direction of right to left on your computer screen. Cliffside Park jumped out to an early 1-0 advantage less than 5 minutes into the game. Fort Lee would have a response with Castro's 33rd goal of the season. That made it 1-1. But since Fort Lee tied it up, it's been all Cliffside Park. Castro gets the shot blocked away. She had her best goal-scoring opportunity since she actually scored. And the keeper came out and made a nice save. So Touge doing the save and doing the work there. And now here goes another opportunity. Confrey has a breakaway. Confrey takes the shot. There's a save by Fearon. So both goalies standing tall there the last couple of moments, each making a big-time save that prevented another goal to be put on the board with now under a minute left to go in the first half. Confrey chipping that one again from distance. That rolls off to the side, to the near side, and out of play for a goal kick. 40 seconds left to go. Ocampo. Knocked down here by Fort Lee. So it's been a complete flip of the script so far today. It was all Bridgman at Cliffside Park back on September 26th. It's been all Cliffside Park here on the road. Fort Lee looking for a last-ditch effort to score with 5 seconds left to go in the half. Headed forward, and it looks like they'll come up just shy of that goal-scoring opportunity. First 40 minutes in the books. All Red Raiders of Cliffside Park as they'll take a 4-1 lead into halftime. Stick around as we'll be back for the start of the second half of play as you're watching all the coverage of Fort Lee girls soccer here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody, here to the Sugarman Sports Complex as we're moments away from the resumption of play in the start of the second half. It was all Cliffside Park in the first 40 minutes of action. 4-1 lead for the visitors. On a first half hat trick there by Sarah Zachary Confrey. She scored 3 in a row, the last 3 for Cliffside Park after this was a 1-1 game, so officially the natural hat trick, scoring the last 3 consecutive goals in this game. Portly getting back onto the field. They're in their home black with the orange trim. Cliffside Park in their road white with the red trim and numerals. Dan Long, Renee Matisich, Dimitri Nanis, glad you could join us on our Fort Lee Athletics YouTube broadcast here of the girls' soccer season. Only one more home match will remain for the Bridgmen as they'll be taking on North Bergen on their senior night. Cliffside Park still has some work to do this season as they will be playing in the North 2 Group 3 sectional state playoffs. Here's Haley So, starting to venture a little further down the field offensively. She needs to provide that secondary offensive threat for Fort Lee, as Castro's been the lone offensive option in this game. Cliffside Park struck for the first goal of the contest less than 5 minutes into the play. Fort Lee responded no less than 5 minutes later with an equalizing finish, but then it's been all Cliffside Park since then. Foul whistled against Castro. 6-1 Fort Lee in the first meeting, now 4-1 Cliffside Park here in the second meeting of the year, as Abby Fearon will handle it on a bounce. So trying to get to it, and does in the midfield. Tries to poke that one through. Game plan so far for the Bridgmen is just quickly get possession. Don't try to bring it up the field, but just try to long ball pass to Castro, who's trying to stay on side. She does this time to the far side, trying to bring it with her. Tries to get around that defender in the far side edge. Now double team comes to her. Castro is starting to get a little frustrated as that's going to be last touch out of bounds off of Cliffside Park last. But again, Fort Lee's got to do better field spacing. Get some teammates that are going to have open areas because of all the added attention on Castro on the far side. Turnarounds and on a bounce, it's going to be handled by Cliffside Park. Miss hit that time. It's going to be taken back by the Bridgmen. Here's Castro. Gets the edge, takes the curling shot. Just goes a little too high. It goes up and over the crossbar, out of play for a goal kick. Alexa Castro, her 33rd goal of the season, giving her now 68 career goals here at Fort Lee. Just an incredible career. She's going to go down as one of the most prolific goal scorers in Bridgman soccer history. And she'll still have a whole nother season at her disposal. 28 goals a season ago, 33 now here in her junior campaign. A throw in for Cliffside Park. Confrey. Still dribbling up a storm to the far side. She's got 3 goals today, looking for maybe another one, and will score another one on that far post side. That is 4 in a row for number 10 in white and red. 5-1 advantage now for Cliffside Park. Cliffside Park has certainly learned from that first meeting of the season. Confrey, she and her teammates, completely different here. They're the explosive offensive side that seem to be a couple steps ahead of the opposing defense. Castro in the first meeting had 5 goals for Fort Lee. And Confrey now has 4 goals, 4 in a row in this game for Cliffside Park. And the Bridgmen just have not had an answer at all here this afternoon. Knocked down. Laid down to the near side. Shelley trying to centering ball to the top of the box. Ricochets down. Confrey now with it. Back to the goal, still trying to play it to the near side. Nieves now going over to Shelley. Knocked down. Here's a shot from distance and another goal for Cliffside Park. A long distance offering that time for the Red Raiders. Distance has not been an issue for Cliffside Park this afternoon. Camilla Echeverry, the freshman, scoring her second career goal. And less than 5 minutes into the start of the second half, 2 more goals for Cliffside Park. They now lead 6-1. Here's a shot from distance, batted away. So Cliffside Park makes the save. That will at least earn Fort Lee the corner kick on the far side. Played to the midfield as it pinballs back around. Taken in now around the 40-yard line by Fort Lee. Latte trying to get it up top to So. So trying to make a quick turn. Again, the defense flanking to her. Good quick pass. This is going to lead to a scoring opportunity. And a kick save and a split of a save there by Cliffside Park. Everything's coming up Red Raiders today. And the near side again. Fort Lee looking for the opportunity. A little bit of contact from behind. That's going to lead to the foul and a free kick upcoming after Castro was knocked down inside the 30. Shot from distance, and that time perfect placement as it deflects into the top right corner for Castro's second goal of the game. So Castro just took it upon herself. She drew the contact in the foul. That was a shot from distance. That had some serious spin on it as well. And Castro scores for the second time in this game and for the 34th time on the season. That stops the run of 5 unanswered goals in this game by Cliffside Park and pulls Fort Lee back to within 4 at 6-2. Confrey. Passing it back up top. Nieves tries her luck. That got deflected. Out of bounds. Last touch off of the defense, so it'll end up as a near side corner kick for Cliffside Park. Played across a one-timer attempt. That would have been dazzling there for Nieves, who didn't miss by much. Jettisoning that one up and over the crossbar. Most goals scored in a game this season by Cliffside Park in a 7-0 win against Memorial. So they're closing in. One more goal is all they need to tie that high water mark in the season. Fort Lee has given up 7 goals twice this season, and this is now back-to-back games that they've given up 6 goals in a contest. Here's Confrey, again getting past the defense. As Fort Lee trying to get back to get that possession. Build off the last goal by Castro, which was a beauty. Shelley into the near side was in an offside position. Played along to the near side. Here's So. So clears it off to the far side. Turning around and unable to get to that one. 9 minutes gone by here in the second half. A lot of goals already on the board. Falls down to Castro again. Tries to slither that one pass, and it'll just squeak its way by. Last touch, though, out of bounds off Cliffside Park. So a corner upcoming here for Fort Lee, taken to the near side. As it looked like it was an injury sustained by the goalie for Cliffside Park, but not enough to stop the clock in the midst of play here. Pinball's inside. And is that going to be a handball? It looks like it will be a handball call, so it's going to be a penalty kick upcoming against Cliffside Park. Penalty kick will have an opportunity now for Fort Lee to draw a little bit closer. They just scored the last goal in this game, and now an opportunity here to cut this deficit down to 3. Haley So will prepare it from the spot. So with 7 goals on the season. And it's saved. Cliffside Park makes the save on the penalty kick, as Fort Lee was trying to pull to within 3 again in this game. So shot it right down the middle, and that was anticipated by the keeper for Cliffside Park, and keeps momentum on the side of the visitors. Played forward. Misplay by Fort Lee leads to the tap-in finish for Cliffside Park. Confrey now up to 5 goals in this game. She came into this game with 11 goals on the season, a historic performance for her. As she looks back to her teammates and even held up the 5 fingers. So on one side, would have looked like maybe there was a bit of a momentum shift. With a penalty kick awarded to Fort Lee, they could have made it within a 3-goal margin. But a save on one end, a misplay defensively on the other. And Cliffside Park up to 7 goals in this game, tying their season high for goals in a single contest. Handball against Nieves. It'll be a free kick upcoming for Fort Lee. So a tough go of it here this afternoon for the Bridgemen. Whistle sounding with the free kick, as I don't know if they were saying that the ball should have been brought back further. So they're going to redo it again from the Fort Lee 45. Miss hit initially, but Shelley will get to it and clear it out to the midfield. Clavijo. Nieves. Down the near side. Confrey. Trying to dribble through the whole host of defense. Five of her team's 7 goals. So, lofts it wide to the far side, out of bounds in front of the Fort Lee bench. Ball left behind. Take it in. Echeverry. Confrey. Stolen back by Bark. The far side, Castro making a run. Look at that. 5 different players in white all around Castro. Castro will earn her team a corner on the far side, but because she was kind of backing down her defenders, was not able to see if there were any other defenders who weren't really there coming down to help her out. Good pass. So was open. First touch betrayed her, though. She had that cleanly fall down to her feet. She was going to have a one-on-one opportunity dead center with the keeper. Shelley with a nice move down the near sideline. Pass, though, a little too soft, and it's stolen away by Fort Lee. Here come the Bridgemen on the counter. So was trying to stay onside. Confrey. Chipping that one across the heart of the goal mouth and headed away. Just off the mark by Nieves. Popped up, and that's going to get up and over the goalie. Caitlin Shelley from distance. Shelley will score her 2nd goal of the season. That was just from long range. And we've seen that a couple times here today, that Cliffside Park has just been able to loft that high and up and over the Fort Lee keeper. 8 goals put on the board now in this league contest by Cliffside Park. Season high in goals in a single game this year for the Red Raiders, who are on their way to their 9th win of the season. Fort Lee trying to answer. Out for a goal kick now. Nieves is trying to link up with her teammate. It'll be a throw in now for the Bridgemen. Played wide now on the far side. Nice give and go on that far side for the Bridgemen. Trying to get it to Castro, tracks it down. But there's no off-ball movement, as you can see, from Fort Lee. They are just watching right now and watching their teammate try to do everything her own. Good sportsmanship there from Castro, who looked like she had collided there with Nieves, who was a little slow to get to her feet, trying to walk off whatever injury that she sustained. Down the near side, here goes Shelley again. Shelley gets by the last defender as well. Sweeps it wide, looking for the centering ball. Knocked down in front. Good defensive work that time by the Bridgeman. Ricocheted straight up in the air. Net was left vacant. As that is played to the outside. .22.5 minutes left to go in regulation. So, trying to get right down the middle of the field and almost got to it. Here comes Cliffside Park. Look at this counterattack. Still with possession of the ball. There is another teammate lurking wide open in the middle of the net. That one ricocheted off of Nieves. Godfrey already with a huge day. Add it to a bigger total. Give her 6 goals now in this game. And 9 goals put on the board. Shelley taking it down the near side. She has that one just go out of bounds to the near side. So Fort Lee will get the goal kick coming up their way. An incredibly tough afternoon against their arch rivals who have taken it to them here. Fort Lee again is going to be trying to bounce back, and their next home game is going to be their senior night to honor the senior class in that game against North Bergen. Nice takedown to the near side, but again shot just outside wide of the cage. Last time that Fort Lee was at home, they put up 13 goals in a game. It's kind of been the opposite here today. As they always say, the soccer gods giveth and taketh away, and it's been a humbling experience for the Bridgemen here today. And Cliffside Park, again, it's been remarkable, their turnaround so far this season. As I mentioned, they were 1-4-1 to start off the year. But since their 6-1 defeat at home against Fort Lee, they've gone 7-2, about to be 8-2 in their last 10. past the midway point of the second half. Sent down the other way. Castro has scored both goals here today for Fort Lee. Taking another shot opportunity. That one is initially saved. No pounce on with the rebound. Castro had some velocity on it, but again, Fort Lee not having players run off the ball to maybe tap it in after the ball was left precariously out in front. Everyone playing kind of flat-footed. Fort Lee playing with the long ball to the far side. Chipping that one, but wide of the mark as it goes out of play. It'll go out for a goal kick now for Cliffside Park. In that North 2 Group 3 bracket, the top overall seed, Chatham, followed by North Hunterdon, Summit, and Millburn, one of those top 4 seeds. Millburn will be hosting Cliffside Park in the first round. Castro try to redirect that one on net. She does, but not away from the keeper. Miss hit out of bounds to the near side. Latte. Good ball, centering ball to Haley So. So trying to go wide with it. Good decision. The keeper coming off her line to kick that one away. Same type of thing. I don't know why the goalie for Cliffside Park did not come all the way out there to then use her gloves to take away the angle and take away the possession and the shot opportunity. As that's moved along the front of the net. Take it away as Confrey is now back playing defense more. Nieves stood up in the middle of the field. If you're just joining us, number 10 in white, Sarah Zachary Confrey with 6 goals here today for Cliffside Park. In the first meeting of the year, it was Alexa Castro who struck for 5 goals between these two sides for Fort Lee. Just a complete flip of the script this time around. Go figure that the road teams have been the dominant forces in this rivalry this season in the 2023 campaign. So, impressive dribbling display, but swept away just at the edge of the box. Headed backwards. Chipping it around, taking a shot from distance, and again, as I've mentioned, I think the good play has been done by all different type of shooters in this game. Just any shot opportunity is a good one. We saw that be a huge focal point for the Cliffside Park attack back in the first half with a blinding sun. But also just with inexperience in goal for both teams. Just get shots. See if the goalies are up to the challenge. Cleared out of bounds to the far side will be a throw-in upcoming now for Cliffside Park. Another throw-in midfield for the Red Raiders. This is going to be their regular season finale here today. So they will finish their regular season with 9 wins on the year. That's touched last by Cliffside Park, so we'll go out for a corner on the far side for Fort Lee. Richmond's scheduled for 2 more games of the regular season. They will close out their home slate of games against North Bergen on senior night, and then are scheduled to travel to Passaic Valley. Shot inside, that should be a handball, so it's going to be a second handball of the day against Cliffside Park, and another penalty kick awarded to Fort Lee. So the Bridgemen have a chance here to give themselves 3 goals in this game. And a chance for Alexa Castro to be the one responsible for all 3. Fort Lee 0 for 1 in PKs here today. Now 0 for 2 as Castro just slid it wide of the mark to the far side. So a rare occurrence there that the natural goal scorer was unable to convert on a penalty kick. It's been that type of day for Fort Lee. Nothing going their way. Latte now having it. Played forward and skewered back. Nice possession here for the Bridgemen. Looking for a seam, trying to fit that one through, but there was no runners at the other end. Touch last out of bounds will be a throw-in now for Cliffside Park. Approaching 11.5 minutes left to go in regulation. Free kick upcoming now for Cliffside Park. Confrey angling that pass to the far side. A runner underneath it, but got hopped up and over her head. That one shot right back into Nieves. Had that happen a couple of times so far in this second half. Along to the far side it goes. Castro trying to track it down. Look at the hustle still. With this game out of reach, Castro will get that 3rd goal of the game. So she was denied after she shot it wide, on the penalty kick, and now Alexa Castro has all 3 Fort Lee goals here today. Castro up to 35 goals on the season, and this year against Cliffside Park, she's now accounted for 8 goals in 2 games. Just again, a natural goal scorer. You see the hustle. That's the thing that is so impressive in a game that is as lopsided as this one is. To see Castro not giving up and still fighting and clawing in every second, that shows you how competitive she is. Confrey again has been switched and is playing more defense now. Clavillo had her advance stopped near midfield. Good defensive work there by Fort Lee. Goretzky has that one bounced away as Fort Lee trying to send it forward with now under 10 minutes left to go in regulation. Sent back in. Knocked down just inside the 40-yard line as Cliffside Park will pop it up. Now whistle for the handball. So defensively, the defense has betrayed Fort Lee since their win against Ridgefield Park on October 12th when they won 2-1. Now counting today's game, in their last 2 games, Fort Lee has surrendered 15 goals in the last 2 games. Bobbled a bit there, and that could have led to a potential tap in for a 10th goal for Cliffside Park. Played forward. Here's Castro again. Castro weaving her way through again, takes the shot from distance and shoots that one wide and out of play. So now it's going to be a goal kick upcoming now for Cliffside Park. Castro with all 3 goals for the Bridgemen. She is going to be called for the foul, as now it's going to be a free kick upcoming for Cliffside Park. Again, they are going to be embarking on the postseason in North 2 Group 3 as the number 13 seed. Will take on the Millers of Milburn High School. Fort Lee just missing out on the postseason themselves. They'll be finishing up their regular season. So just breaking news, fans just found out that actually Fort Lee is going to be participating in the state playoffs, as Morris Hills, who was slated right above them in power points, would have garnered that 16th and final seed. Said they've opted out, so Fort Lee is going to be in the field of 16. They'll be taking on Northern Highlands in the first round of North 1 Group 3. So the Bridgemen will play a little more soccer this season, in addition to finishing out their slate of the regular season. Again, senior night will be coming up against North Bergen. Here's Confrey of 6 goals in her performance here today. Along down the near side, good build up here. Trying to go coast to coast with it with a counterattack and sliding over. Cliffside Park to get that out of harm's way will be a resulting throw-in deep inside the offensive third for Fort Lee. So the trend has continued here for Fort Lee. They've scored 3 or more goals in now 5 of their 6 home games this season. To the near side. Blockered around and played forward. Good tip of it. Little contact made as well. Is this going to be a yellow card being shown? And a yellow card is shown to Fort Lee. So after the collision was made with the keeper, yellow card is shown. So it looked like it was Haley So who was the one shown the yellow. 5:22 left to go in regulation. Free kick upcoming for Cliffside Park. Goretzky. Good dribbling right down the middle. Got past first 2 initial defenders. Tried to play it wide, but was tipped out of bounds. Last touch off the defense, so a corner is going to be upcoming now for the Bridgman in the far side. Played inside the box. Tipped away by Confrey. Try to play it up top to Diana Alacron. Some substitutions going on here for Cliffside Park. As it looks like number 3, Daisy Covedo de Leon is now onto the field for the first time. Castro up to 35 goals on the season now. Castro still dribbling up a storm here, looking to fire, turns and fires, and has that deflect into the defender. Well, that'll go out of play as we're approaching the final 3 minutes of this game. Into the midfield. Some spacing right now here for Fort Lee. Chipping that one on the line right into the keeper's hands for the save as after Angelina Velate, the sophomore. Won a great game recently against Dumont on October 2nd, a goal and an assist. Was getting a little space and got at least the shot on target. Castro. Good move to break it wide. Chipping that one, and that one rang off the side of the woodwork. And out of bounds off of the post, and that'll go out for a goal kick. With the 6 more points here today, Castro now up to 73 points on the season. As we approach now, 1:45 and counting left to go in the second half. Later on this week, we'll be broadcasting the sights and sounds of the Fort Lee Volleyball State Playoff match at East Gymnasium, so please join us on Thursday for that. Bridgman earning the number 3 seed in the North 1 Group 3 state sectional playoffs. Laid wide by Cliffside Park, right in front of their bench. Broadcast last week the sights and sounds of that thrilling victory in 3 sets in this rivalry matchup with volleyball, with Fort Lee outlasting Cliffside Park. That earned the Bridgman a share of the league title. It's the 4th consecutive year that Fort Lee has won the Big North American Division. Shelley, who has a goal in this game, trying to get a foot on it. As Fort Lee will come back into their defensive zone and try to play it up the field with 30 seconds left on the clock. So Cliffside Park about to salt this one away as this finishes up. A dominant victory for the visitors as they will split the regular season series. Fort Lee was dominant on the road in the first matchup. This time around, Cliffside Park dominant here on the road in this one. So the final score, Cliffside Park 9, Fort Lee 3. For Renee Matisich and Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long and thanks for watching Fort Lee Athletics here on YouTube.